What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, according to MATCHROOM CEO and promoter of British heavyweight title contender superstar boxer Dillian the Body Snatcher Whyte, Dillian Whyte, he defeated Alexander Povetkin in his highly anticipated rematch after he floored Alexander Povetkin 2 times in the first fight in August, and ultimately Alexander Povetkin came back and caught Dillian Whyte with an uppercut and knocked him out cold brutally in the first fight. With that said, yesterday marked the rematch in which Dillian Whyte got the 4th round knockout victory over Alexander Povetkin. He simply just did not look like himself. But Matchroom CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn, he's stating that former Olympic bronze medalist, former WBC reigning American heavyweight world champion superstar boxer Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder was in Dillian Whyte's inbox via social media. He reached out to Dillian Whyte and stated that he wants to have a fight with himself and Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte is now 28 wins, 2 losses, 19 wins by way of knockout. He's 32 years of age. He stands at 6'4", with a 78-inch arm reach, and obviously we just saw him in the ring last night against Alexander Povetkin. With that said, Eddie Hearn is hoping to secure a fight between Dillian Whyte and Deontay Wilder in the summertime, as he stated that Deontay Wilder initially stated that he had no interest in fighting Dillian Whyte. He would never give Dillian Whyte the opportunity. This according to Eddie Hearn. And he's saying since the loss to Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury being on the verge of facing off against 2-time unified British heavyweight world champion superstar boxer Anthony Joshua, in whom Eddie Hearn promotes as well, he's trying to stage the undisputed super fight in the UK. It's the biggest fight in UK history, and that's the fight they're looking to secure. That's the fight that they want to, promote and stage, okay? So with that said, Deontay Wilder, he went to mediation with Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is a 2-time heavyweight world champion. He's undefeated. He's a British superstar boxer. And they went to mediation, and now they're in arbitration. Tyson Fury is contractually obligated to give Deontay Wilder a trilogy match. With that said, Deontay Wilder is seeking the trilogy match, but Eddie Hearn is stating that Deontay Wilder, since he may not be able to secure the trilogy match, he reached out to Dillian Whyte, and he wants to stage a fight between Dillian Whyte and himself. Dillian Whyte was once upon a time the WBC mandatory challenger, leading into that Alexander Povetkin fight in which he lost the opportunity when he was brutally knocked out. Deontay Wilder, 42 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw on his resume, 41 wins by way of knockout. He himself was stopped in the 7th round of the fight with Tyson Fury in a rematch that took place February of 2020. With that said, Deontay Wilder is 35 years of age, stands at 6'7" with an 83-inch arm reach. So he has a 3-inch height advantage over Dillian Whyte, and he has a 5-inch arm reach advantage over Dillian Whyte, okay? Last time we saw Deontay Wilder in the ring was February of 2020, when he was stopped by Tyson Fury in that fight in Las Vegas. So, according to Eddie Hearn and Dillian Whyte, Deontay Wilder has reached out to stage a fight between the two. I don't know how true this is, seeing as though Deontay Wilder is very, very focused on landing the trilogy match and getting what he's contractually obligated to receive from Tyson Fury. Obviously, at this point in time, Eddie Hearn is willing to go to any measure to make sure he secures this Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua biggest UK undisputed heavyweight showdown in the history of UK boxing, okay? And so that's his #1 objective. And if he can place Dillian Whyte in the way as a roadblock, or, to dangle a carrot, so to speak, to Deontay Wilder and add incentives, maybe he's guaranteed to win or something of that matter. That's the measure in which Eddie Hearn is going to go. You also heard this before. We heard this story before when Deontay Wilder was trying to secure a fight with Anthony Joshua for undisputed way back when now. Eddie Hearn, he offered up Dillian Whyte, stated that he should fight Dillian Whyte first, and if he was to beat Dillian Whyte, then he'd get a showdown with Anthony Joshua, but he wouldn't contractually agree to that. Deontay Wilder says he would gladly fight and beat Dillian Whyte as long as Eddie Hearn put Anthony Joshua in the contract and guarantee him that he'll face Anthony Joshua should he beat Dillian Whyte. Eddie Hearn was not willing to do so. With that said, there's a huge storyline here. the build-up for this fight would be huge. It's going to be action-packed. This is going to end in a knockout. Deontay Wilder does very, very well with guys that are shorter than him. The only struggles he's had in his career, which were taller guys or, very, very good pure boxers like Luis King Kong Ortiz, who's about 6'4", 6'5", but he's a southpaw. He has the Cuban style of boxing. He's very, very technical. He gave Deontay Wilder trouble, but ultimately he was knocked out in both fights. They fought twice, and Deontay Wilder ultimately knocked him out. The 10th round in the first fight and the 7th round in the second fight, okay? So, with that said, he still gets the knockout. He obviously struggles at times with Tyson Fury style. Tyson Fury being 6'9", 270 pounds. He's a very big guy. He's much bigger than Deontay Wilder. So he gave Deontay Wilder a lot of problems in the first fight. It was a very close fight. Obviously, it ended in a draw in the second fight. Tyson Fury got the stoppage victory. Obviously, there's an asterisk by it due to the fact that, there's a situation going on with the gloves. There's a lot, going on behind the scenes with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. So those are the styles that would give Deontay Wilder trouble. Dillian Whyte has issues with his stamina. Obviously, the press conferences, the build-up for this, the storyline for Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, and Dillian Whyte would be absolutely enormous. It'll be very entertaining. It would sell a fight. But like I said, Deontay Wilder is focused on getting a trilogy match that he's so contractually is owed, okay? And he wants his world title back. He successfully defended the title 10 times. He held the belt for 5 years. He wants the opportunity to regain it. The only loss on his resume is to Tyson Fury. The only blemishes on his resume, the draw is to Tyson Fury, and the loss is to Tyson Fury. So Deontay Wilder, he wants his, the trilogy. He's contractually owed it, and that's what he's seeking. As far as him reaching out to Dillian Whyte, I'm not so sure this is, factual, because we know that they announced that Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, they signed the contract and they was going to have an announcement two weeks ago. We still haven't gotten an announcement. Tyson Fury, he announced that they agreed to 2-fight deal. That was June 10th of 2020. So we're 10 months in and we still haven't gotten an announcement. Tyson Fury, he recently came out and stated that if he, didn't get a deal done by early June with Anthony Joshua, then he was going to move on. Tyson Fury stated that he wished he would have just go ahead and fought Deontay Wilder in the trilogy. And don't be surprised if he fights Deontay Wilder in the trilogy match, because there's a lot of things taking place behind the scenes. So there's a lot going on with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. So we don't know how that's going to play out. But if, things did falter and not in Deontay Wilder's favor, and the judge in the arbitration rules in Tyson Fury's favor, and we see Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, then, Deontay Wilder versus Dillian Whyte would be a huge fight. It would be action-packed. Like I said, the storyline, the build-up. Now the guy is short on words. There's another guy in the mix, though, that's looking to face off against Deontay Wilder, and that's Mexican heavyweight, former unified world champion superstar boxer Andy Ruiz Jr. Now, Andy Ruiz Jr., he's going into Showdown with fellow Mexican heavyweight title contender Chris Arreola. That will be on pay-per-view. I'm highly expecting Andy Ruiz to win that fight. But Andy Ruiz is vowing to get a fight with Deontay Wilder in a mega pay-per-view event. Now, I believe it's much easier to make Andy Ruiz versus Deontay Wilder, seeing as though they're both with the PBC, Premier Boxing Champions, and they both are with advisor and founder of the PBC, Al Heyman. So with that said, it's a much easier fight to make. Andy Ruiz, he stated that we should fight on pay-per-view in a huge pay-per-view event, himself and Deontay Wilder. So he's vowing for that, okay? I don't know if Deontay Wilder's willing to do business with Eddie Hearn. Maybe if the Dillian Whyte fight, we saw the WBC president, Mauricio Suleiman. He came out, he stated that he would, order Deontay Wilder and Dillian Whyte. If they fought, they would be the mandatory challenger for the WBC. The winner would be the mandatory challenger for the WBC title. So that would make the winner of that fight immediately the mandatory challenger for whoever wins between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. The issue is that they will have a 2-fight deal. And are the winner going to get an immediate opportunity to fight the winner of that fight, or are they going to allow them to have and settle the 2 fights and then, get the winner? Now, we know Tyson Fury, he doesn't mind, having hiatuses in between fights, as he's contractually obligated after the first fight with Deontay Wilder to fight him in a rematch. That didn't take place. He ended up fighting Tom Schwartz and Otto Wallin first. Then he went into the rematch. We know he's supposed to go into an immediate rematch with Vladimir Klitschko. That never took place. So now he's contractually obligated to give Deontay Wilder a trilogy match, and he's on the verge of trying to attempt to not allow that to take place. So if Tyson Fury was to beat Anthony Joshua, I expect Tyson Fury, if they do fight, to beat Anthony Joshua. Stylistically, I think he's a bad matchup for Anthony Joshua. That's not writing Anthony Joshua off. But I'm expecting him to win the fight. And if that's the case, you never know with Tyson Fury. He may just retire. Okay, so, who knows how that unfolds and plays out. Is Deontay Wilder truly reaching out to Dillian Whyte to make a fight happen? Because what would be the incentive? Okay, it may be a much bigger fight in the States between Deontay Wilder and Andy Ruiz. Here in the States, that's a much bigger fight. Now, if Deontay Wilder chose to go across the pond and go to the UK and fight Dillian Whyte in the UK, then it would be a much bigger fight in the UK. But in the States, Andy Ruiz and Deontay Wilder is truly a bigger fight. I'm hard-pressed to see that Deontay Wilder reached out to Dillian Whyte to try and stage a fight, seeing as though he's seeking out that trilogy match with Tyson Fury. But this would be an action-packed fight. It would be a huge storyline, but I don't think it goes past the fourth round. I think Deontay Wilder knocks out Dillian Whyte before the fourth round. But let's see how this unfolds and plays out. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.